We believe in inspiring ideas that drive change. We embrace innovation and new digital technology as key enablers for achieving our goals. Our mission is to support entrepreneurs to make their dreams come true, promoting easier access to the right skill set, network, and capital. Elite is your ecosystem for growth and excellence. One vision to unlock real value. Elite, connecting companies with capital.
The quite tough task to bring you till the lunchtime, and also to cover this speech in English, and so double task that I hope to be able to address. First of all, I would like to thank Richard, Istvan, and the entire Budapest Stock Exchange team to invite me today in this conference, because I was also here for the first edition of this conference, and so for me it's a huge pleasure to be here with you again. And this is also the first time in which I'm speaking in a conference, not in Italy, which is my own country, after this super tough pandemic period. And so happy to be here with you. I met for the first time with the Hungarian ecosystem back in 2016, because at Elite we launched our international program the year before. And I had the chance to meet at the time with Richard, that was thinking on how to support SMEs in Hungary. We discussed a lot, and we tried to design together something that could be really relevant for the Hungarian SMEs. And this was the first step of the partnership that we start together in 2016. But what is Elite, apart from these inspirational words from the video? Elite is, as I've mentioned, it's an ecosystem of SMEs. We established this ecosystem starting from Italy, because I suppose, and I used to work for the Italian Stock Exchange, and so I faced, exactly like in any other country, the need to support even more and even better SMEs to grow. And in 2012, and so next year we will celebrate the first 10 years of Elite, we start with this project. The project today is quite well spread across the globe. We have more than 1,600 companies, of which more than 50 are Hungarian, by the way, from 43 different countries. What they have in common is the fact that they want to grow. They want to understand better all the financial tools that they can use in order to be more competitive and even more leaders in their sectors. And they want to understand how to access capital, because one point that is clear for all of us is that there is a lot of capital ready for them, but the point is how to make SME able to access the capital that they need for the growth. Up to now, as I mentioned, we have this huge group of companies, but if we look at the numbers at the bottom part of the slide, the companies are really in the size of the SME range. And so we're speaking of companies that are around 70 or 60 million in revenue, are mainly family-owned, and I'm the third generation of a small company, and so I can better understand what is the complexity of family-owned businesses in order to open and to access new form and new sources of capital. We are not doing everything alone. We are working with strategic partners such as the Budapest Stock Exchange here in the region, but also with more than 200 advisors, and so corporate advisors, banks, law firms that can support SME in putting everything in place. We are not only limiting ourselves to support these companies in a sort of better understanding the opportunities, but we are also helping them in raise funding through a platform that we have developed that is supporting them to raise through debt and equity the money that they need in order to grow. But let's make a focus on Hungary. First of all, because it's the third largest community of companies in Elite, thanks to this great partnership that we have with the Budapest Stock Exchange. Here you can see the KPIs and the numbers link to the Hungarian group of companies that we have in Elite. As I mentioned, we speak about 60 companies from 19 different sectors, and so they're covering the majority of the sectors and the subsectors present in the country. 2 of those companies are already listed on the market, and this is something that is really positive because we established Elite as a capital neutral program. Not because we don't think that the IPO or the possibility to list bond or equity on the market is probably the best tool ever, but because it's important to have a sort of graduality in explaining to the companies that they can use all these tools. And the fact that we have 2 listed companies among the ones that are part of Elite, it's a great result. These companies are also making a portion of Hungary working because the employment linked to these companies is around 6,000 people. That is not bad at all. And they aggregate revenues for around 1.5 billion. You can see here all the logos and the names of these companies, and some of them, probably the majority of them, were part of BÉT50 in the last years. And so it's also for us in the strategy of the Budapest Stock Exchange to support SMEs a potential step ahead after the BÉT50 visibility in order to support them even more. But why companies are joining Elite? And this is, let me say, a question and an answer that is not only for the Hungarian companies, but for the entire group of companies part of Elite. First of all, because they want to access or to better understand at least alternative funding options. The period that we pass in the last 18 months underline once again the fact that it's important to have more than one source of finance because it's a matter of mitigating the risk to have possibility to leverage on different sources of funding in all the moments of the life of a company. And so one of the reasons why is exactly to understand the tools and be able to access the right tool in the right moment, because the preparation to some of the more structured tools is not something that is happening in one day. The second important reason why is the fact that entering through Elite, the skills and the expertise are growing because entrepreneurs are together, not only from the same country, but also with a really important contamination with other countries, and so are sharing experience, are sharing their way of facing issue and challenges. And this is really important because they are peers, and so they can really transfer each other how to face and how to support the company going through the different challenges of the growth. Last but not least, they are also entering an outstanding international and global network. And this is not obvious because it's also a way to make business. And so they are not only working on themselves in order to grow and in order to be more structured, but they are also in the same time meeting with people that can be a game changer also in the business for them, because we are creating relationship between companies in different sectors, but also in different countries, and this is for sure an important value for them and also for us. I would like to focus on these 3 numbers that I think that are quite impressive in terms of impact and sustainability of the model itself. We have monitored from the beginning the impact of Elite, and it's sure that there is not only our element in the scheme, but we are a contributor of this number for sure. And the results show that longer the Elite companies have been operating within our community and higher their growth rates is relevant. And so looking to the size, margins, and capability to create job, we are speaking about 74% in terms of margin growth rate, and so they are growing also through aggregation, M&A, and this is something that is not irrelevant, because the size of each company is important if you are changing your landscape. And so if you want to grow also internationally, the size of the company is something that is not irrelevant. The second number, which is the 77%, is linked to the margin, and so the profitability of the company. And again, this is something that is important, because they're not only growing in size, but they're also growing in profitability. Last but not least, the employment rate. Again, probably addressing all the problems of the SMEs will also probably support us at European level to solve the unemployment issue, because imagine that in Europe we have 23 million of SMEs. If one of SMEs of these 23 million will employ one people, probably we will solve through that the employment issue at European level. And this is not, again, something that is irrelevant. But why I'm, let me say, mentioning these three numbers? Because ELITE itself is a sustainable financing exercise and model. And so we are working to support real economy in order to grow. And through that, we are also supporting the sustainability of our economies. In particular, speaking about Hungary, this could be also a support in the scheme that also the chairman of the Budapest Stock Exchange and vice governor of the National Bank is mentioning in his introduction. Just a few numbers about funding, because it's true that we are starting from shaping and supporting these companies in order to be more proactive and understanding better the financial tools, but it's also true that we are working in the financial framework, and so we are working in order to support companies to grow through financial tools. These are the numbers of the dynamism that we achieve in our community. As you can see, and just pointed out the numbers about the bridge between private and public that ELITE was able to cover, around 100, more than 100 companies from ELITE decided to list something, so a bond or an equity IPO on the markets. Let me say, we are speaking about different public markets, but as I've already mentioned, two of them also were listed here in Hungary. But looking to the others, it's quite impressive to see that the 30% of these companies are making something. And so if we are able to unlock knowledge and capability and skills, it's clear that entrepreneurs are following us, because it's a way for them to grow even more and to support their company to grow. And so more than 500 companies cover a transaction, and so an M&A deal or a issue of a bond or an IPO, or even other transactions such as joint ventures or the entrance of private equity. And this is not because we push them to do that, but because explaining to them that it's important to have a structure in their growth, they realize that in order to grow faster, it's also important to leverage on the right tools. And this is just the message that we are transferring to them. It's clear that we have not covered all the value of the transaction that you can see in this slide, but only a portion. And so I'm referring to the blue numbers in the bottom part of the slide. And so among all these volumes and value, we were able to support 162 companies in order to raise through our platform, which is a simple, let me say, infrastructure, similar to the exchange infrastructure, but for the private capital space. And so in a sort of complementarity activity with the public market. And this is, let me say, I think it's a good result also because we are speaking about numbers that started in 2017 and also covered the last 2 years that were not easy in terms of funding for companies. As I mentioned, ELITE is something that is used also by the Budapest Stock Exchange in partnership with us in order to start supporting companies in understanding their growth path. And so, in our view, could be the growth destination for some of the companies that are listed today in the BÉT50 edition of this year. And so I will be more than happy to welcome you, thanks to the Budapest Stock Exchange team, in our network in order to unlock even more the growth for your companies. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and I hope to be not so boring because now there is the lunch. Thank you very much.